Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with Elizabeth. Elizabeth and I were part of the writers that launched a new book, and so we're here to tell you about the book. And so the book is now available on Amazon. You can order it in all different countries all over the world, and you'll get your very own copy of Awaken Souls, a series of healing and becoming. And through here, you will find beautiful people sharing what was it like for them to transform? Was it like to become awake? And what was their process like? And why do they do what they do? And why do they shed their lights in the world? And so Elizabeth is one of the writers and a beautiful person. And Elizabeth and I met through a coaching academy that we were both part of. But right away, I could tell that she was a really person that I wanted to be connected with, that I wanted to work with on different projects. And so when the book idea came to mind, I immediately thought of you as one of the writers. And I'm so glad that you said yes. And I'm reading and going through your chapter was actually just such a joyful part of the book. And it's written in such a fun way and different. And so it's not only moving and beautiful, but it's also enjoyable to read through. And so, Elizabeth, with that, please introduce yourself and tell us, why did you decide to be a writer in this project?
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Serrano, but my artist name is Vintage Rose. I am a spiritual empowerment coach for women. And what I really do is through my coaching containers, I really assist women and guide them through elevating through higher levels of consciousness. What that looks like is really turning and alchemizing their pain into beauty and their wounds into wisdom. So I love these special containers because we really go soul deep into really shining the light of who they really are at soul level. So that's what I do. And I said yes to the book. Thank you, Melanie, so much for inviting me, because I always, and I write this in my chapter, words were my first love. Ever since I was little, it's like my soul knew. And I remember this really vivid memory of me writing when I was maybe 4 years old. And the only thing I knew how to write was I love mom and dad. And that's what I would write. I would write it just on piece of paper, like just, I love mom and dad, because I always knew I had that love for writing. And then, yeah, it's just, I always knew that I was going to write a book, and I'm actually writing a poetry book. So when the opportunity came to write about my own healing journey, I knew, yes, it's time to write about it, because I want other people to know my journey. And it does come full circle, because in my chapter, I write about remembering a past life. And at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what my awakening was, but it was through books, because it's not really talked about in the mainstream about past lives or soul remembrance. It was through books that I learned so much of what my journey was, because I read through other people that walked the path before me. And that's what informed me in my journey, and truly go deeper into my becoming and really remembering who my authentic self was.
It's so beautiful, right? And I think that's how the whole project came about, was to reach out to others that maybe are suffering, that are living in the unconscious 3D reality that we're all part of, that are suffering from their own kind of programming and their channel of destiny, and that they really want to make a change. And so these stories are stories of how we came about to change ourselves. And that was the hope, is that it would reach out to readers and that they would connect with it and find through that a new way of experiencing this life on this earth as we are as beings. Yes. So what was it like to write?
So many emotions came up for me. It was really healing. I am so vulnerable in my chapter because I'm really just bearing my soul to the public for the first time. I'm publicly talking about what happened, my journey, my whole spiritual awakening, which was such a profound and beautiful, painful, just everything, right? It was like a whole experience of me awakening. And it brought up a lot of wow, like a lot of emotions just going back. I'm not the same woman that I was. And I'm so grateful for it now. So acknowledging my own growth, being so proud of myself for going into the unknown and answering my own call to adventure, to finding my soul's purpose, to really becoming the woman that I am today. And now being in a place where I can help other women who were once where I was. It's just, I mean, how can I even describe that and put that into words? It's just such, I don't know, serendipitous kind of experience for me. It was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. And it's like the words just flew through me. And I was just like, I'm just going to write whatever comes up. And you know what? I could not stop writing. That was one of the things too. Like, I enjoyed the process so much. I was like, wait, this little part. No, wait, this little part. Wait, no, that. I forgot about that. And then finally, I'm like, okay, it feels complete. So it was such a beautiful experience. Uh, I loved it. I loved every moment of it. And again, I'm celebrating myself for just coming so far. And I'm also honoring, that version of myself that I was 5 years ago. And then also my little inner child who always knew she was going to be a published author because I always knew. So it's just so beautiful. So just thank you, Melanie, so much. Like it's the dream come true. It really
Oh, I
is.
love that so much. I can echo your therapeutic comments as well, because it's one thing to journal and whatnot, but it's another to actually tell your story. And then it's even more powerful when others read it and then bring it back to you. It's just got this therapeutic element that I never knew was even a thing. Oh, thank you, Lorna, for joining us. Another writer into the book. We have a copy of the book here, so it is available on Amazon all over the world, and so get your copy. Um, we were just talking about the writing process, Lorna, but maybe you could introduce yourself and tell everyone what made you say yes to writing in the book. And Lorna and I met actually through a Facebook community. And right away, I could tell that I wanted more of Lorna around me. Your energy and your beauty, but also your transformation is so significant. And I feel like so important in so many women's lives that are watching that I feel don't even know there's a potential new way to live their experience here. And so I just knew that you had to tell your story. And I'm so glad that you said yes. But yes, please introduce yourself and tell everyone why did you choose to say yes to this project?
Thank you, Melanie. Very much. I would say very much that similar thing of that connection that I felt with you when we did meet, and when you put out the invitation to be a part of it. It was just an instant yes. I knew that anything that you offer, first of all, is something of just immense value and caliber. And also I saw this really as that piece, as Elizabeth said, that since a child, she'd felt to be a writer, to be an author, and would write. And that's something that I have as well, just as well, knowing that I would be writing. And so this just felt like this is the time. Different times I've had other people say, you want to be a part of our book and stuff like that. And it was just, this one was an instant yes. And so I think I knew that the opportunity, the context, the gathering, the people was just, this was it. So it was not even a question.
Beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
tell everyone what it is that you do and what your chapter is about.
Sure. And I'm trying to remember right now, what did I call it? I don't even remember. I think it's called From Separation to Source is what it was. It was just, I sort of just allowed just whatever it came. I'm here in beautiful British Columbia. And even though Melanie, you and I live in our half same home province, we've not yet met in person. And someday I look forward to that for sure.
Yes.
I am different titles right now, sex and spirit alchemist of the feminine led life. I'm a somatic sexologist. I'm a poet, a story unweaver. And really what my journey is, a speaker and a writer. I actually, when I was, I would say when I was in my teaching time, going in to be a teacher, I got a writing award for, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was a writing award for my article on, or my research project on security and support for latchkey kids. And when I was thinking about this the other day, I thought, oh yeah, I remember I wrote that, and that got published, an ISB number and everything. But I thought, what was it about that? And I think what I've always been a part of, or part of my role, has been about creating different perspectives, creating different ways of looking at things. And I think that was the same with that. And in my work, coming from this idea of feeling so separate, so disconnected from my body, from my sexuality, having been taught, save yourself for marriage, be a good girl. I did. I was, and to be able to see how I thought that's how I was supposed to be. And I didn't realize how disconnected that would make me feel from my own true essence. And I didn't go out looking for, I wasn't looking for a battle. It was really feeling the battle within myself, that struggle, the something just doesn't feel at home. Had a beautiful husband, 2 beautiful daughters, and still that part inside that says there's something more. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to access it. But that's really stayed alive within me. And then when my children left home, I thought it's time for me to go and find out, who am I? Who am I? And that led me to back it up a little bit. And I shared about this in my story. I went on as I was a teacher, but it wasn't 6 years into it, my body shut me down with laryngitis and then decreasing energy. And by Christmas time, 4 times of laryngitis and a microphone. I thought there's something here I need to address. And that really was what I say, the gift of my health crisis really gave me an opportunity to start to look at things differently. And that's where somebody said to me about, we're not humans having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And I like, what? I just remember being shocked and just kind of like, what do you mean? And that was what really opened my eyes, took the blinders off in a really major way, and started me in my spiritual journey, different spiritual experiences I had that really started to take me into a different way of understanding and experiencing that which I thought I was separate from, I wasn't. And then my journey continued, and I ended up having, at the age of 47, a midlife sexual awakening. And 5 years prior, with the help of a masturbation coach, I'd had my first orgasm. 30 years into a marriage, and first of all of a sudden now I get to experience what my body can do. But when I had my midlife sexual awakening, what was really fascinating was that it didn't awaken me just to the sexual aspect of things, but to the oneness of life. And that which we've been so separate from, which we've been taught is so separate, male, female, our body, us, spirituality, sexuality, body, human, all of that. And it just became this journey of really an awakening that way. And I went on to be a somatic sexologist, went to do that personal professional training so I could support people. And it's been my journey to be able to bring forward, let people know that there is a different way. There is a different way, and to be able to play a role in people's lives, men, women, couples, professional trainings, one-on-one sessions, be able to really support people in knowing there is a different way, and that which we have as what keeps being shown to me over and over in my personal experience, what keeps flowing through in one way or another is we're not separate. Here's the story. So I get to help people unweave the story of our human journey, their story around sexuality, about themselves, and bring us back into a place of remembrance. Not only just, a knowing, but a remembrance and an embodied experience of the oneness of who we are beyond the stories and beyond the idea of thinking that sex is just sort of a certain thing. It's kind of like, no, I look at it as really a mirror. That X, pull it apart and it becomes a mirror. And what's reflected back to us in a mirror is something that we see the opposite. And it was interesting when I was doing my story writing, I tried writing and it just didn't come. So I just picked up my microphone and I just spoke it and let myself feel the emotion and do it that way. And as I look at it, it was like a river. Like I thought I was going to pick up one little part of my story and tell about that, but it ended up, it was really, okay, start here and just let it meander and tell. And so that's the river that flowed in my chapter, as my chapter.
That's so beautiful. And I know readers will be very moved by it for sure. And these are 2 of the 8 writers that are in the book. And so we have a lot of diversity in the book. We talk a lot about different backgrounds, different histories. And that one commonality that seems to pop up is that reality of really living into this full world of the body, the mind, the soul, and the spiritual, and all the connections that we have with each other, and just all the beauty in it. And so it's really inspiring. It's actually a really moving book to read from beginning to end, because the stories are so beautiful and just kind of highlight so many different experiences that it makes it very touching and moving. So I'm so grateful that you said yes and that you embarked on this wild journey that we've been on. And now here we are, and the book is available. So I'll definitely put the links in the comments so that for those of you watching, you can get your copy of the book. And we'll look forward to your feedback and reviews on that. Anything else that you wanted to share with everyone watching?
For myself, just a real gratitude for this opportunity. I love the aspect of the collaborative writing, that collaborative book, to be able to connect with Elizabeth and Melanie, having known you already, but to now see each other in a different way and hold space for each other. It's really powerful. That it speaks at a really profound level of my own experience that was a part of my awakening piece, but is the power of community. When we come together to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed, to be supported, I think that's where we get to take off a lot of what I call the shroud of shame. We get to take off this place, and the masks can come off and say, here I am. And we get to be, wow, what an incredible journey. So it's just been amazing.
Beautiful. Well, that's beautiful, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we'll put all the links in the comments, so it's easy for you watching to get a copy of the book, and reach out to these beautiful souls that are with me here today about their accomplishment. I just really want to congratulate you on the first book of many. I know both of you have a lot more to share and a lot more to tell. And so I'll be looking forward to your next books. And thank you so much for participating with me on this project. It was such a joy and pleasure to have you. Thank you, everyone, for watching.